So the iPhone 11 has been on the market since 2019, and yes, it's receiving iOS 17. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in this How Does It Run series in 3, 2, go, and see how fast this can get to the home screen. Now keep in mind that this iPhone 11 does have the Apple A12 Bionic chipset. Actually, is it the A13? Yeah, it's the A13 Bionic chipset. And this phone right here also has 4 gigabytes of RAM. So we're going to see how it does here. We're at 19 seconds, 20 seconds rolling in on 25 seconds. Come on, iPhone 11. There we go. 25 seconds. So 4 years later, phone can boot up in 25 seconds. Now, when you first download this, the update's around 4 gigs. So it's not going to boot up in 25 seconds when you first download it. But not bad for a phone that's 4 years old already. Okay, so quick battery check, 91% at the beginning of this video. We are going to take a look at where that is at the end of this How Does It Run content right here. And we'll see how that goes. So quickly confirming the software, you can tell with these widgets, this is iOS 17, but we'll go ahead and confirm that again here by going to Geekbench 6. You'll see iOS 17, the Apple iPhone 11, A13 Bionic clocked at 2.66 gigahertz. This is a 4G LTE phone, and it does have 4 gigabytes of RAM available for usage. You go to About Phone, you'll see here is iOS 17. We do have the 21A329 version on here, and you can click Learn More to learn all the new features, or you could watch my video from the other day where we just broke down 20 of the most important features that you'll definitely probably notice on the day-to-day. There's a lot of little more things, like little things you'll notice throughout the OS, but it's more of a feature upgrade, nothing really groundbreakingly different than before. Okay guys, so one of the standout features here in iOS 17 is going to be standby. So go into settings here, and then you scroll down to under wallpaper, you'll see the standby section. I do have this turned on. It says standby will be turned on when placed on its side and charging to show information like widgets, photo frames, and clocks. So let's see, iPhone on its side, let's plug it in. See what we get here, and standby, it says welcome to standby, and you can see, there we go. So it looks like there's no issues, no delays. You can use standby very easily here for the iPhone 11, and even though this is an LCD screen, it still looks quite nice. You know, we can't really tell too much, although again, I do think this looks better on OLED because of the black background. Performance is flawless here on iOS 17, runs great. Okay guys, so let's check out swiping through the home screens. Let's kind of just see if we can get this thing to stutter up. So no issues there, scrolling through. There was like one app downloading, but not a big deal. No issues here whatsoever. So that's just general performance. Let's see if I unlock it a few times, if I can get there. There was a little bit, did you see that? Like there was a little bit of a stutter there. So iPhone 11 can stutter from time to time, but it's not very common. And most of the time, you're not going to be pushing it to this level, so I don't think you'll notice too much. So general performance across the general user interface of iOS 17 is basically great here on the iPhone 11. Runs fantastic. Okay, so this is not a 15 or 15 Pro or Pro Max, so you don't have an action button for camera, but you can access this pretty quickly by just clicking this here. Or you can swipe like this, or you can just go ahead and click the camera icon right here. But we're going to see how quick is the camera here. 3, 2, go. So pretty good. Scrolling through. Because sometimes in updates, we do get issues with camera. Giving me some issues sometimes. That's why I like to check this area. It doesn't seem to flip between these as fast as like the newer phones, but it's only like maybe like a millisecond difference. And I gotta tell you, man, the camera on 11 is still really, really solid. Like I would definitely just use this for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, X, whatever you guys use, Snapchat, I don't care. I'm just saying in terms of the camera, I would definitely still use this phone now. Mostly nobody would notice a difference. So very quick. Pretty much flawless performance there on the camera. That Face ID was a little slow there, but overall, no major issues so far. Okay, so let's run through a few applications really quickly here, just to see if we're getting that flawless performance we expect from iOS. And you'll see Instagram a little slow as we get into the third-party applications here. There's X. So pretty good. And Groupon. So I'm noticing that these apps, they launch slightly slower than like a 14 Pro or something like that. But it's not like anything serious at all. Like, wouldn't slow anybody down. Definitely still can't say, I would just say go get a new iPhone because of your iPhone 11's performance being slow. We're not at that point yet. 4 years later, we're not at that point with the iPhone 11. So if you bought an 11, you made a good deal too to yourself back then. I mean, we do have 60 hertz, which is definitely noticeable. We didn't talk about that. No promotion here. But honestly, iPhone even on 60 hertz is pretty smooth. So I have an issue there either. When I first downloaded this, I also noticed that the iPhone 11 got really warm on the back. So if you're looking for the coolest phone out there to the touch, this is not going to be it. You can even play some nice titles here on the iPhone 11, no issues. So you can see Asphalt takes a while to load by comparison to a 14 Pro Max. But, you know, it's a big game, so no big issue. So we can open Call of Duty. I'm not even going to open Call of Duty. That takes too long. Let's just go to Subway Surfers here. And you'll see Subway Surfers. I will open all the applications and our speed test between this and the iPhone 15. So be subscribed for our iPhone 11 versus 15 speed test, which will arrive here before the season's up. Let's go into 3D Mark and Temple Run 2. So all I'm noticing is just a hair difference in performance between this and a newer phone. It just loads slightly slower, but it's not like anything. It's not like an older like iPhone 8 Plus or something like that. It's only a little bit slower, so not really a big issue. I don't think throughout the day you're gonna notice. We're gonna go back through these here. I don't think you're gonna notice much of anything, honestly. So Apple did a good job with making sure that iOS 17 runs good even on phones that are a few years back, which is kind of important because a lot of people still have an iPhone from a few years back. But while we're running Geekbench there, I just want to show you something on the iPhone 14 Pro. So really what makes the difference is the animations just look a lot smoother because of ProMotion on the newer phone. So that's just the difference you're going to notice. So if you visually want to see a much faster phone, I definitely would recommend upgrading the 11. But if you're happy with day-to-day consistent use, I do think the 11 is still just fine. I'll be back when the Geekbench results are in. Okay guys, so our final Geekbench scores are in, and you'll see that the iPhone 11, well, it's doing a 1647 on single and a 3829 on the multi-core. Not bad for the age of this phone. The average is around 1667, so I didn't do quite as good. And obviously the iPhone 14 Pro over here can score around 6,715 massive scores on these newer iPhones, and the 15 Pro and Pro Max are just going to beat that too. So yeah, just basically a really solid offering here. 4 years later, it's still pretty good. I mean, that's really respectable for this age. So I really like that. So let's wrap it up here. We could do 3D Mark, but it's not really necessary as the graphics are not going to be as fast as a more modern iPhone. Battery check. We are at 82%. We started this video. Let me go ahead and get in focus. We started this video at 91. 82% means that we went down about 8%. I was downloading a couple apps, so that could have played into it. But we're pushing it kind of hard here. That's still kind of a lot of drain for the time it took to make this video, to shoot this content right here. So it's draining a little fast right now, but I think when iOS 17 is first downloaded, it does drain a little faster, but do keep in mind that the battery is probably not going to last as long as it did when it first came out, especially if you don't have 100% capacity. So share your experience with the community, how iOS 11 has been going, iOS 17 has been going for you on your iPhone 11. And if you want to see more iPhones compared or discussed in how does it run on iOS 17, let me know which one that is in the comments. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to know more about iOS 17, check out my top 20 features for iOS 17 I covered the other day. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.